have you sued the school at this point, or what's illegally happening?
We are taking legal action. There are other things that took place in this. These and gross inadequacies are all going to be taken up by my attorneys.
I want to introduce criminal defense attorney Sarah Azari to join in the conversation, because obviously you have to ask yourself, what is the school's responsibility in a case like this? Obviously, they failed in their duty here to protect a child, but what happens from here?
When you're a school within a district taking in children with disabilities, you have to provide them with free and appropriate education under the law. Now, appropriate is not optimal. It is a Chevy as opposed to a Cadillac, for a better way to, these schools don't have the resources, and I'm not excusing their behavior at all. I think they were grossly negligent with your son, but their duty to protect this child was really subpar. I mean, in the way that they performed their duty. They didn't have the aid to escort the kid around. Look, wandering is a very common feature for an autistic child. More than 50% of autistic children wander. And this is something that was determined in the IEP, and that the child needed an aid. And when they did provide the aid was not equipped or, trained or the appropriate aid to do that. So I do see liability on the school's part. And then I think the issue is going to become, in a lawsuit, these other episodes that Trevor explained, and whether those really occurred, because you have the child's testimony talking about what may or may not have happened, and then you have the school personnel and their witnesses and whatever they might say. But again, I do believe the school was grossly negligent. I think that they should have done more to protect the child.
Trevor, what's your ultimate goal in all this? Beyond, obviously, getting your son in a situation that optimizes his well-being, his education, what is your goal as far as?
My ultimate goal is to bring awareness to what autism is, bring awareness to the fact that adequate provision of services for our children is not being maintained. And one of the things that the attorney brought up, which needs to be taken into mind, up to that point, at the previous school, within the same district, he'd not had a meltdown in very nearly a year, and was commended as a student of the year and for academic excellence at the end of last year, prior to being moved to this campus. This is an instance where the administration of that particular site was untrained, unfamiliar, unequipped. The site itself was insecure, and the people handling my child were inept.
And I think that's a great point.
If I may just add one more thing, the school, according to reports I read, the school is saying, well, this was the kid's first year in middle school. That's not a defense. I don't care if it's the first day of his first year or the last day of his last year. The issue is a lack of resources, unfortunately.
And let me really quickly, speaking of the school, they did send us a statement. We reached out to the Lancaster School District. They said, while we are strictly prohibited from discussing the details of any students with the public, we can assure you that the father, who has made this situation quite public, is not setting forth the complete story. Our staff responded quickly, compassionately, and appropriately to de-escalate the child and ensure that he was safe. In fact, during the incident, one of the employees sustained serious injuries requiring immediate medical attention, and we hope for his speedy recovery. The rest of the statement can be found on our website, thedoctorstv.com. And, this is one of those scenarios where all we hope for is that your son gets the best possible education at the best possible place. And I think raising awareness is important. We did want to do something for Abraham, so we actually reached out to our friends at Ellen Co., who specialize in educational toys and kits, and they're going to be providing him with a $1,000 gift certificate to be used towards his education. So, Trevor, we wish you the very best going forward. And the one thing that you can certainly tell is that you care a lot about your son, and we know on this show what an incredible challenge it can be as a parent trying to do the best for your child in a world where not everyone understands the special needs. Sarah, thank you for your input, and we'll have more resources on our website.